Ladies and gentlemen, it is game week 38. It is the last game week of Premier League football, of Fantasy Premier League football. And it's going to be a big one because every single game is getting played tomorrow, which is a Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But nevertheless, welcome back to Added Time. It's been 38 or 37-ish long weeks that we've been sticking to this podcast. And I must say I've enjoyed it. I'm sure it's given you, Mike, some insights into your team. It's given me some insights to my team. Bombshell, I won the mini league. Surprise. Nah, it was kind of signed and sealed. I sealed it last week with a veg boost to get me 125 points. Might get 108 points, though, which is respectable without a chip. So, I mean, fair play to you.
Listen to this guy. Respectable. Respectable. Oh, it's so respectable. Thank you for your
I sound like a head coach. But nevertheless, we're at the end of the season. We've got some things to talk about. We've got some general football Premier League action to talk about. We've got the Euros to come up that we can touch off at the end of the podcast. So there's a lot to cover in the football world still. Just stay with us. Subscribe if you've been enjoying it. Like the video. Let us know what your teams are for this week while we get into FPL.
The final day has arrived.
The final day.
I cannot believe it. The last chance to take those final bets. Put your captain on the right player. Beat the person below you. Get ahead of the person above you. Hero worship the person that keeps on winning the damn mini league.
I'm the Man City of the mini league.
And a lot of people, I won't lie to you, people out there, if you got to game week 38, just know there's probably a good couple of 100,000 people out there who quit halfway through FPL.
So well done.
If you've stuck it out for me.
Yeah, if you've stuck out 38 weeks of FPL and you're mentally still fine, we commend you.
There is a large portion of the population of this planet who go to rehab for mental health reasons because of FPL.
It's true.
Because I'm one of those people. I'm on the edge. Yeah,
it's true. It's so true.
But you know what? It's the hope that kills you, and we'll get him next year. See that guy? We'll get him. We'll get him next year. Whoever he is on the screen, they will get him.
Just a quick shout out as well. I just want to mention Shamlin got 142 points in our mini league, which was a big haul. It was the most points I think we've probably seen all season. He played his triple captain on, I think it was Kevin De Bruyne, no, Holland. So there you go, 142 points.
Fair play. That's when you hit your NOS just at the end of the race.
Come out of nowhere, because he wasn't in the top 5 for a while. He's like Chelsea. He went like that. He went like us saying that he's a United fan. Nevertheless,
but yeah,
good job.
He hit NOS at the end there. So yeah, well done on that. And if we're going to start reflecting about game weeks, can we just say that one player that we both outlined as a really good pick, yet we both somehow did not have, was
Vardiel, yeah.
Vardiel.
Mr. City scoring 2 goals. What the hell is going on?
Sometimes we don't listen to ourselves, but statistically, that was there for the taking. I think we both went the Paro direction, and it didn't end up bad for us.
Yeah.
But 21 points is hard to overlook. It really is.
It's a tough pill to swallow, considering the clean sheet bonuses. And I mean, so you got 6 in the second point, so you ended up 27 points in the game week. You would have got more points on Vardiel than Haaland if you captain Vardiel. Which is crazy. So, I mean, we don't talk rubbish, so subscribe.
Another player that was a nice surprise package for me was how Gusto came up with 13 points on one game week and not starting the last game week.
But Gusto's just different, isn't he? Getting the 12-point haul in his second game against Brighton, like, he was quite pivotal in getting Chelsea those wins, and he got the clean sheet bonus because he got subbed off before we conceded. So you got even more points there, because that's the thing. For those of you who don't know yet, quickly, if your player plays 60 minutes as a defender, midfielder, goalkeeper, and he gets subbed off after, and it's still 0-0 or 1-0 or whatever, they get the clean sheet points. So it doesn't really matter what happens after. It happened to Mike twice now this season. It's kind of annoying, but we move on.
And here's the interesting thing about Gusto as a pick. He was starting to be a nervous pick because James came back all for 5 minutes.
And then this clown plays 2 games and gets suspended. He's been suspended. I can't be asked. What is he doing?
2 starts and 2 red cards.
I must say, the way he did the kick was super clean. Like, I don't back it, but it was tidy. Like it was such a smooth motion. You didn't even realize it. But I mean, VAR, what are you doing? You should know this.
Yeah. I have my own. I think there's an element to that kick that is a person who just came back from a lengthy injury gets fouled in a way, and in that moment flashes back to the entire year, 2 years of
Yeah,
missing football,
you get
and
irritated and
reacts.
angry.
It
Yeah,
wasn't a reaction to the match or to the moment, but a reaction to 2 years of being on the sideline and then getting that injury. But it was kind of shameful for a club captain and
on
to
the
do that.
on the bright side, as a Chelsea fan, and for Reece James, it seemed that his surgery went well enough that he seems
Oh, that
fine.
leg. Yeah, that leg. Did you see the action on that kick?
It was crazy. Looked like a WWE superstar or something. No, but I mean, fair play to them. We have to. We'll segue back into FPL quickly, but for those of you that are watching, like we're obsessed with Chelsea, and we have to talk about Chelsea's form because everyone is talking about Chelsea's form. The Premier League is talking about, the Premier League social media accounts are talking about their form. This magical masterstroke from Pochettino in these last 5-6 weeks. We've been on a streak of form, and I really don't see us losing this weekend because we're playing at the Bridge. So I mean, I really back us to win. And there's hope for once. There's hope.
We had the PFA Young Player of the Year,
Cold
Stone
Palmer.
Cold Cole Palmer. You know, he's just been such a revelation to the entire Premier League. He plays like a player possessed. He's just pure talent, skill. That header that he scored
Oh, that was
last week
insane. That was insane.
was so sweet. And for me, that's like a mark of a really good player because he's good on his left, he's good on his right, he's good at
Carrying the
Shibobo. You know
ball,
what?
yeah.
For our international, you pull a Shibobo out.
For South Africans, so
nowhere.
I think it's a nutmeg. They called it a
There we
nutmeg
go.
everywhere else. Yeah.
Nutmeg, a little bit of nutmeg, but yeah, they just put it through someone's legs. He'll do his skill. He'll bend the ball. He'll curve the ball. Now he throws in a finesse header.
Nah, he's crazy. That header was Drogba-esque, if I should say so myself. That was really good.
And that's why, and as an FPL asset, to probably is going to end, fingers crossed, the highest scoring possible FPL player, depending on what happens this week. He's already one of the highest players of Chelsea's FPL assets over since FPL's been
since
out.
the beginning of time.
Yeah, so and we're looking at a player who was a very low value at the beginning of the season in terms of his price. And now he's going to skyrocket next season. So if you weren't on a Cole Palmer train at 5 million at the beginning of this season, I'm expecting a good 8-9 million.
Yeah, we're gonna do a video later, closer to the new season, of like predictions and all that stuff. And I reckon like 7.58 it would be a respectable increase for him.
That's going to be a price prediction video right here on Added Time FPL. Another player that Haaland, bro.
Yeah. Haaland, we said it. He will switch on at the end of the season when he needs to. And he didn't score in the Fulham game, and we were like, ooh, you captain Palmer, by the way. I captain Haaland, so we swapped again. And after that Fulham game, I was like, I've made a mistake. Mike's gonna beat me again because he captained the right person. And then out of nowhere, Haaland just switches on, scores 2 goals in 4 minutes, and I mean, steamrolls Spurs to carry on going for the title. What can you say? He's just showed up. He's early in Holland. Also on that, Phil Foden also getting points in that double game week in the Fulham game. So, like you said, we've said, you have to have Haaland and Foden. It's as simple as that.
And Vardiol now.
And Vardiol.
I would say that's the third one. How people are saying this guy's a flop this season when he's got 27 goals and 5 assists.
It's because
he's apparently a flop.
They're just not used to it because he scored so many goals in the first season. Like
36 goals last season.
Yeah. So that's why it's like, oh, he's a flop. 10 goals. Wow. 10 goals less than last season. I'm sorry. 27 goals is a flop. Nah, Haaland's still Haaland. Like, he's still a beast. Yeah, and I think he's still here for another year or two. So definitely someone to just keep in your FPL team, because had we not taken him out, even in the spells that it was iffy for him, obviously we had to sometimes, but if you just kept him in your team, you would have ended up with more points on average than any other forward. So there you go.
Craziness. What moves do you think are the moves that people should be making this week in your FPL?
I would
this week? Game week 38 moves.
the
Tell me,
last
mate.
the
Tell me.
last week of FPL. What do you do to get that top 100k, top 200k, climb your mini league?
Pete Shamlin.
Pete Shamlin. That's for Mike. Honestly, if I'm looking at fixtures and form, you're looking at Arsenal versus Everton at the Emirates. So you're thinking double Arsenal defense. If you haven't already, you're thinking Kai Havertz or Saka, because the fixtures and form are there. Havertz is especially an interesting one just because of his form that he's found. He's playing at home. So I would definitely be looking to max out Arsenal if you could this week, or at least double up on some defense. I think that's a pretty obvious statement. I think that's probably what you would think as well. It's really, if you're going Arsenal, you have to. They're fighting for the title. They're not going to bottle it against Everton. You hope so, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm backing Arsenal over Spurs this week. I can tell you that. There's more chance of Arsenal beating Everton than there is of Spurs beating Sheffield, and even that's because Sheffield's got.
I really apologize to Spurs fans, but it's such a Spurs thing to go and lose to Sheffield. It is. But like then they'll go beat Arsenal 4-0 kind of a thing. Like it's just such a Spurs thing.
It's all on what Postecoglou has been doing this last couple of weeks. He's been angry that people have been saying Spurs should lose their game to City to help City and not help Arsenal. He's been angry in the media, and the fans have been sort of torn and toxic and fighting against each other, saying we should lose the game, or others saying no, we're not part of that part of the fan base. It's just been a crazy toxic thing at Spurs, and this week will tell you if the team and Spurs in general
been suffered by that.
Which way do they go?
Yeah.
Do they go, we'll prove you wrong, and go score 4 goals against Sheffield and put it to bed and say we're here to fight next season?
Or do they bottle it and just become irrelevant?
Do they crumble?
Yeah.
Do they crumble? And so it's a game that's a coin toss for me. And but as much as that's a coin toss, that Everton game versus Arsenal is like a coin toss with two sides of the coin being heads.
Yeah. And heads being what Arsenal called. Yeah, it's pretty much a given. And I could argue the same for City against West Ham, although I do back West Ham to sneak something more than Everton. I could be wrong, but I mean, Everton's form hasn't been the greatest. Neither has West Ham. So in reality, my prediction is that City just go on and become champions.
They are in pole position. Here's my thing with West Ham, where I think it's more of a gamble.
Jared Bowen comes out of nowhere.
I've never seen a manager concede defeat like Moyes has done. He's almost said in the conference, he said, if Man City's under 14s were going for the title, they would win it. Almost as if to say, no one wants to hear your manager of your team say, we're gonna try our best, but we technically know we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Right? Is that Moyes showing his lack of fight? And already admitting defeat, or is that Moyes playing mind games and all of a sudden West Ham come and he's in the back of the West Ham changing room for his last game in charge of West Ham and going, come on boys, let's show them. Let's show them.
Because the thing is, I think you're right. I think it might be the second, because I know the Pep press conference, he's going to do his thing where, West Ham are a strong team and we have to try the best and we could even, but the players would have been watching those interviews and then realizing it's also West Ham and seeing the form. And I think it's a strat. I think David Moyes is throwing something out there, and I think they're going to cook up a victory this weekend. Who knows?
Oh, this is what we want in the Premier League. We want it to be contested. We want it to go down to the final wire.
It's the closest it's been for a while. And I mean, obviously Arsenal bottled it last season, but I mean, it's been really close.
It hasn't gone down to the final day in a while. So
yeah.
We shall see what happens at the kickoff, and by the 90 minutes, is the trophy going to be red or blue, which is normally the question every year.
Yeah, and every single team is playing at the same time tomorrow. So go hire TVs, hire your laptops, get your computers around, run, get 6 screen monitors, just play everything you can.
Here's a question for you. From an FPL perspective, you could only have 2 games open. Which 2 games are you watching?
I think I'm watching my captain Haaland. I think that's a given. I'm not going to sell Chelsea because there's a Chelsea fan. So let's put that. If I captain Palmer, I'd be watching the Chelsea game. So I would say watch your captain game. I think that's just pretty self-explanatory. And then I think you have to watch the Arsenal game, I think you just have to watch Arsenal and City. You have to. Because you have them side by side, and it could be 1-0, 1-0, and like whoever loses or wins or draws, like that's it. This is the decider. You have to watch those two games.
It's a tough one, eh?
It
You have
is.
to sideline Chelsea game for
I
your
know.
team's game. You're gonna watch those two for FPL reasons.
Fortunately for me, just a side note, the Chelsea game is broadcasted in the UK on Sky Sports, and I have access to Sky Sports, so that's a good thing for me. It's the Arsenal games on TNT, which is a different broadcast company, so not to worry about that. But I'm going to try and have like 3 or 4 games open at the same time. I want to have the Arsenal game open, I want to have the City game open, and then I have to have the Chelsea game open. And I'm going to have the Spurs game open because if they lose, so we hope for a loss. So that's what I'm doing.
I think for me, you gotta watch the West Ham Man City game because that's technically deciding the title. Because we've already discussed that Arsenal should and will win against Everton. However, I can't not watch that Chelsea game at the end of the season, and one of the reasons is Cole Palmer. You know, I know he's kind of out of touching distance with a golden boot, but you never know. You might make a late push for it, or to score like
you can score 4 goals, 4 or 5 goals, and Haaland could blank. Haaland doesn't have to win in the Premier League. Like literally, Foden can win them the Premier League. Vardy can get a hat trick and win them the Premier League. So who knows? Who knows? The only thing I'll say about West Ham is that they have only beaten Arsenal out of all the big teams this season, and they did it 2-0, and they did it away from home. So maybe they now beat City 2-0 away from home. Who knows? Maybe history repeats itself in just a different club.
Everything's set up for a City win, but you never know what's going to happen.
Arsenal could sneak in there.
That's what makes this last game week fire.
Yeah.
So good luck everybody out there, like watching the games. It's going to be a fire game. Tell me something. Give me a goalie for this week. Like if someone was like, you know what, I got my free hit for the last week and I want to bring in a goalie.
Yeah.
Is Raya your best option, or do you have another person in mind?
Instinctually, I would say Edison if he was fit. He obviously got taken off with the injury. So maybe Ortega.
He's confirmed not to start this game.
Yeah, no, he'll be done.
Confirmed.
But then again, I don't think City keep a clean sheet against West Ham. I think it's going to be a goal thriller. So I wouldn't look there. I would then go, a thriller, nice. I then look at Petrovic. Albeit Chelsea haven't kept the most clean sheets this season, they do have something going for them. But also now, like Reece James not being around, there's no like defensive solidity to close the game out to keep that clean sheet. So, I mean, he's in goal for me. But I mean, if you're playing a free hit, I wouldn't possibly look at him. Raya is a good shout because Everton just are struggling to score goals, and Arsenal, the way they play, is they choke you out and they don't give you opportunities. Hence why they double up on Arsenal defenders. So I would say he's a good shout. And then I could make a case for Alisson, I think. I mean, Liverpool are playing Wolves at Anfield. It'll be Klopp's last game, probably Salah's last game. Hopefully they go out with a bang. We would expect it. But also, I don't think Liverpool care about clean sheets. They'll just score 6 goals and concede 3 kind of a thing. So I think Ray is probably your safest bet.
Yeah, and to pivot to Liverpool, I think they're a sleeper team right now for this last game week because
no one's got assets in Liverpool at the moment. Yeah,
exactly, because they didn't have the double. It may be a lot of players' last games, particularly Salah. It's definitely Klopp's last game. So, like, do they go all out and the Klopp farewell tour end with a bang?
Yeah,
and Salah has been FPL pedigree for a very long time. So there's a lot of people. I've seen a lot of some AI generated who's the best captain choice, and Salah is up there at number 2, like just behind Haaland. So if you are thinking about bringing in, or you still have a Liverpool asset, don't
just
forget about Salah.
Yeah,
the Egyptian king is gonna go for the bang here.
There we go.
And Wolves could be there for the picking. But at the same time,
this is where my dilemma comes in because I'm tempted.
Been inconsistent. So
I've been tempted I've been tempted to move out Son to Salah, and Maddison on to an interesting player who I think we've maybe not spoken too much about, but we've touched on is Elise.
Yeah, the whole Crystal Palace team. Tell me about why, Nate, the internet and FPL are going crazy this week about Crystal Palace. Why?
Well, for starters, they're playing at home.
Good.
So, as we've discussed, home form matters, or just home fixtures matters. They thrashed United 4-0 at home. They kept the clean sheet. They went to Wolves and thrashed them 3-1. Before that, they thrashed Newcastle. Well, they didn't thrash Newcastle, but they beat Newcastle 2-0. They thrashed West Ham 5-2. They beat Liverpool. They ruined their title dreams. And the only loss between the now and the last couple of weeks was Man City. They are on a 5-win streak with one draw in between there. They're almost I think they are as good a form run as Chelsea. How could you not look at a Crystal Palace player? They are on form. You should definitely bring in a Crystal Palace player. My plan is probably to change Garnacho to Elise and maybe look at Havertz in Madison. But I'm bringing in Elise this week. I have to. You have to. He's playing at home and he's on form.
I have another reason why Crystal Palace is going to do well. Also because they're playing Aston Villa, and Aston Villa have confirmed Champions League football.
So Villa don't care.
It's a dead rubber game for Villa. They're done for the season. They were celebrating that loss that Spurs suffered. So that meant that they've done. They've got Champions League football. So that could be another reason why Aston Villa may go out on a away game, not have the pluck to finish the game strongly. And I know you're saying Olise is the top player on your radar. I think a lot of FPL people are talking about Mateta being on their radar as the highest scoring player from Crystal Palace, 145 points for the season so far as a forward. So that's another option. If you have a forward slot rather than a midfield slot, you can bring up Mateta. Eze has always been worthy of some points as well.
Yeah.
So
definitely
those are your three options.
And also, if Palace win, that they top 10, so that also just looks better on the finishing than being 13th or 12th. So, I mean, I back them.
In my memory of FPL for the last couple of seasons, Crystal Palace always seemed to on the last day have this haul of points. It used to always be Zaha.
Oh yeah,
there are people
Wilfred.
who used to not play their captain, their triple captainship the whole season,
Same
and they
for
may be
Zaha.
like already in the top 10 of the world, and they will wait to the last season's game and they put it on Zaha and they go second or first, because something about Crystal Palace tells me you can put some money on them for this last game. It's going to be some fire there, Crystal Palace. So if you're a bit unsure what to do, I'm definitely checking out Sun for a new asset, and that will most likely be, maybe you're right, Lise, and he's on everybody's radar as well.
The pivoting from those teams, we've discussed your City, we've discussed some Liverpool, Arsenal. What do you do with Chelsea if you don't have Jackson? Do you bring him in?
Jackson is what you call a differential right now, I would say. Not in the sense that Haaland is staple. Jackson is your next best pick there. I would say even a stronger pick than Mateta, because he's got some in-season form now. And I think he's got a point to prove.
Palmer's on form. Mudrik's on form.
We might have if Nkunku starts, I think Jackson gets a goal. That's my feeling. If Nkunku starts and Jackson maybe plays a little wider, or him and Nkunku are rotating, Jackson will be deadly on the left wing. And he's got an assist and a goal in him, definite. So, and he's last season, wherever he was playing, he had end season form.
Yeah.
Fire. And he's got it again this season. He's finally clicking. So I would say, keep on Jackson. I've got my trio of Jackson, Palmer, and Gusto, and I'm starting all three of them.
Instead of Gusto, I've got the Petrovic pick, which is probably a bit detriment to my health, because I'm going to be upset when Gusto gets 3 assists this weekend, tomorrow. But nevertheless, the game's the game, and we move on. That's good points. So would you say it's worth even considering Spurs assets, even one, even any, or should you?
When your manager is telling you this fragile foundations at the club that he's seen in the last two days, and he's telling everybody that he's just upset the things that are coming out of Spurs camp right now are not good signs for me.
Mm.
And I think they're going to be feeling a little annoyed that they didn't win that game because they did play really well.
Yeah.
And Son himself is going to, I don't know what space Son's going to be in. I I am not on a Man United Spurs wavelength for this coming game week.
Give me
I
a
have
give me a an assistance here because I have Son and Madison. So if I have to pick one, who do I leave in the team?
it depends what you want to bring in. If it's just to bring in Olise, you can keep
No,
Son.
Havertz. I want to bring in Havertz.
But even is Havertz that expensive that you
No,
need to sell Son?
I don't need to sell Son for him, but I'm just thinking like, does Madison get points more than Son because Madison's more likely to assist? Then Son is to score a goal because he can't score an open net versus Ortega. And Pep falls on the floor and thinks it was the best save in the world, but it was kind of just standard
Well,
goalkeeping.
he just in literally that moment is the moment that it will define winning the Premier League, right?
That
That will be the
save.
defining moment to save. Yeah, that was it. There's moments that will be looked back at over the entire next year when we look at this previous campaign, and
Mm.
that will be the moment, the final moment that sort of went, well, we won the title
Hence
with
the
that glove.
reaction. Hence the reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there you go.
and Son missing. So I think if I was going to choose between the two, I still back Son over Madison. I just think he has the ceiling and potential output playing almost
Yeah.
like a false striker to if we are wrong and they're playing a Sheffield who are defeated and just already on their way out and planning for the next league down, then Son might we might be wrong and Son just runs havoc and Pastor Could get them to prove him wrong and make a fight, right? And if there's anyone who's going to make a fight to prove anybody wrong, if there's any humble, good soccer player in this Premier League who has the respect of everybody, it's Son.
Yeah.
And I think if Spurs do well, it's Son leading them there.
Another
Follow the
game I want
sun.
to quickly highlight is the Luton game. Luton versus Fulham. They are fighting for relegation, for safety. Because if they,
Lose 6-0.
well, yeah, doubt. But if Luton win the game, they are Forest lose. Luton will go through because they have the better goal difference and
Yeah,
they'll be equal points.
Yeah, even if Luton lose the game, they still have to lose. They'll end on the same points. They'll still have to lose. No, sorry. If Luton win the game, they have to win by 6 points because Forest are such a big goal difference,
Yeah,
and they'll end up on the same points if it's the other way. So Luton are pretty much down. But I hear what you're saying. It's about the fact that you're telling me there's a chance, and
there's always a chance.
if that chance is scoring 6 goals, how hard is Luton going to fight?
I
But you could argue the other way around. If Luton knows that the only way for them to actually stay up is to score 6 goals and Nottingham Forest lose by like 6 goals, does that give your Fulham assets an opportunity to find those gaps because Luton have nothing to lose?
It's true. Maybe
Going, they
Muniz
have to
gets
go
a bit of a
forward.
hat trick goal or something. Yeah, yeah, they
They
have
have
to.
to go. They have to go forward and score goals and win the game, and that will put Fulham in a perfect position because Fulham are safe.
Yeah,
Fulham could just sit back, wait for the space, and attack it, uh, and see what happens. But that both Forest and Luton's home form this season has been interesting. Not the easiest places to go.
yeah,
So their fans are going to make it a loud. It's a small stadium, but they're going to make it loud for their last game in the Premier League for what could be foreseeable future.
yeah.
So we'll see how loud they get. Another team that seems a bit defeated. Like all those games were dead rubbers. Again, this Nottingham Forest. Like, do we really consider that Burnley going to beat them 6-0? I don't think so. So, to both of those teams, Burnley's already relegated and Forest is relatively safe.
Yeah.
It's another dead game, right? So, and also something to keep in mind is a lot of teams who are playing games where there's not a lot to lose, like Aston Villa. Um, they often tend to play their youngest players, give
Yeah,
some
give
minutes
them
out.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also an element of resting players for the Euros. You can imagine if you're not playing for much, why would you go put a player out like Aston Villa? Like you're not playing for that much right now.
So
Your
why would
place
you
is
risk
secure.
Watkins?
You're gonna send out Watkins to run himself into an injury that takes him out of the Euro.
And the thing is, he's not really in contention for Golden Boot. So doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean you should. So yeah, it's good points. It might be a weaker Villa that shows up.
I would say any player who is playing for little less and is got a big role to play in Euros is not going to take the risk. They in themselves may not run as hard as they would normally. So I would say stay clear of players like that. And Watkins is one of them, where I know he's class, but I don't think it's worth it for Watkins
To risk
personally
it.
to run out there, get the tackle, tear your ACL, and then be like, well, my best season in the Premier League and the best form of my life, but I'm not going to Euros. He's not going to want to do that.
No. And on that bombshell, we talk about captaincies. Because who's going to be your captain this week?
My captain, I don't know. I think
toss the coin and
there's a couple of factors. Number one, you want to factor in the players who are going for that golden boot or going for that Premier League win. And who ticks both of those boxes? Haaland, the robot, the one, the only Erling Haaland. Remind me of a young Magneto. Sorry.
Eric.
So, yeah, because it's like a robot, so I'll call him Magneto from now on. So, I think he's obviously the standout choice because not only are they going for the title, but he's also going for the golden boot, and he's one of the best strikers in the entire world. Okay, so there's very little. He's going to be the most captain. There's very few people that are going to not captain. Your other options outside of that, I'll give one. I would say, and the next best option is the one of the two that we've been captaining all week, all last 5 weeks, 10 weeks, perhaps on his form. Stone Cold Cole Palmer. Not only is he challenging for that boot, but he's class and he's worth a good few points. But I'm not as confident in Cole Palmer as I am in Haaland. Do you have a third captain choice that's something on your radar?
I have two more to throw in there. The biggest differential being Salah.
Yes.
You got it. If you're going to gamble and you got nothing much to lose, why not? Playing a home fixture, your last game, potentially, probably, most likely, of the Premier League. Apologize to Klopp and score a hat-trick. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, you just got to do it. And it's Wolves. So they're not going to keep a clean sheet. So who knows? Maybe Núñez scores a hat-trick as well. This could be a crazy game. So he would be number one. Number two would be a very big gamble, but a risk nevertheless would be Son, just based off what we've spoken about. He's got the ceiling. Can he come back and prove himself that he is the right man? Is this his last season in the Premier League? Who knows?
And I have two outside picks as well. Number one, Crystal Palace and Olise. I think he's an outside differential pick because he's also going to probably be annoyed because France didn't pick him for their Euros training squad. And there's got like three other countries that he could potentially play for in the world. And so you might want to have a point to prove. And we've spoken about how good Crystal Palace can be. And my other outside captain choice is, do you not pick a captain from Arsenal? Considering we've basically said that there's no chance Everton are winning that game. And you've said the magical name 4 or 5 times today, Havertz. You've said his name. You've said his name more than Saka. You've said his name more than Odegaard. You haven't even said Odegaard's name. I don't even think we've said the names Saliba and White, even though we know that's our defensive partnership there. But you've said the word Havertz. And the universe is telling me if Nate is saying Havertz, there's something coming from Havertz.
I don't know if I have a grudge against him. If I can, I don't know if my inner Chelsea fan will allow me to captain him. But yeah, you're right. He is also a very good shout for captaincy this week. So very good options. We know that Haaland is going to be the standout obvious pick. But I mean, if you're looking for a differential, you can definitely pick one of those 4 or 5 players. Let us know down below in the comments. And if you're watching or if you're listening on Spotify, come to YouTube and let us know still who your captain for this week is going to be. But Mike, I think that is it for the last episode of the 2023-2024 FPL season.
We did it. We made it. We finished it. We ended it. We Kamehameha it. We did all of it. We got to the end. It's been quite a journey this season. It's not over.
No.
We just like we get to the finish line, and now we go for post drinks.
Well, there you go.
We go do some content now.
We'll
that's
go
gonna
party
be
with
fire.
Jack Grealish.
We've got Euros coming up. We've got post FPL while it's fresh.
Summer transfer windows.
We got summer transfer. We got all the content here.
We got Chelsea FFP.
This is not the end. This is the beginning. But thanks everybody for joining us with this ride. If you've been riding with us in the back seat, front seat, on top of the car, holding on for dear life.
In the bucky.
Like, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun. And it's going to be a very, very interesting next season, especially if we're going on with everything we've done this season, building our FPL knowledge. If you've been building along with us, let's see if we can take out this guy. Please, look at his smug face. Just take him out. Is there a sniper with FPL somewhere? Just take him out. But well done. Well done, Nate. Well done.
Thank you.
For another victory. You're the Man City of our added FPL team and community. And we are hoping that someone will be the Arsenal and snipe you somehow.
Here we go.
And I hope that's me one day. But next, it's the hope that kills you. But you can't keep doing this.
True. Uh-huh.
You keep your game up, but we're gonna find a way to fight you and beat you.
It just takes one wrong captain choice, and then that's over. So there you go.
This guy's like Thanos here. We have to go back in time and find FPL Infinity Stones to beat him. But yeah, well done. You've done a really good job this season and leading the way. And we can't, if we ran a podcast and one of us didn't win, it would be
a bit of a flop, wouldn't it be? So we'd have to swap the host with the person that won.
You're representing. Represent. But yeah, well done. And it's going to be an interesting game week, and I'm super excited for the end.
Well, stay tuned. You'll see the videos go live. We're definitely going to be doing a Euro 2024 podcast, just because there's going to be a Fantasy Euro League. So we'll get that up and running, see what happens. We'll be talking about the Euros in general, just to keep up with some football content during the off-season. And then for those of you that are Chelsea fans, expect some Chelsea news coming June, July summer transfer window. Do we get relegated because of point penalties? Do we keep selling hotels to ourselves to maintain FFP? Who knows? We'll cover it all. We'll talk about it then. But
the biggest thing is, do we sell Gallagher for now?
That's going to be that's either going to be a very happy or sad podcast when we talk about the contract renewal or the selling of Conor Gallagher.
The angry podcast, that's what it's going to be.
The angry podcast. Angry Chelsea. There you go. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching for the rest of the season. We'll be back and we'll have more content than ever before. So we'll see you next season. Take care.
Goodbye, good luck, and may your points be ever in your favor. Cheers, guys.